I have a business tip that'll save you a lot of money.
Sweet.
And I mean a lot. Before you put any money down on making product, first step, make a website and have a pre-order option. Only when you get pre-orders come in, start investing in making product.
I totally disagree with that. So what she's saying is, I don't know if my product's going to work. I don't know if I even want to ship my product or sell my product. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take money from customers with zero guarantee that they're going to get the product that they're paying for, hold their money. Once I get enough pre-orders, then purchase and then sell. That's a really bad way to start a business and start a brand. Because when you start a business on that front, you're basically starting it and people are going to be pre-ordering products without knowing when things are going to turn up. Plus the way the economy is and the logistics are these days, trust me, things could take like months and months to get to your consumers. And this starts your brand off in a way that you're going to have negative reviews to start with. People aren't going to appreciate it. No, I totally disagree. Another way to do this, and I believe Tim Ferriss was the one that had it, was to say run an ad or run something, and you can sort of gauge how popular a product may be by the click-through rate, right? And then get people to sign up and say, yes, I would like this product, or go on a wait list or something. But actually getting people to pre-purchase a product before that you're actually ready to ship is just, in my viewpoint, not a very it's not a very good way to go about it, and it's not very I just think it's not very sensible to go around that way, start off a brand that ethics, and yeah. They're not bad tips. It's always awkward without the music and just randomly goes away. Because there's a random person dancing to nothing. It's not bad tips. I've always said when I'm looking to start a business, there's like the sort of three things. I believe Jim Collins in the book Good to Great came up with these, but it's sort of three circles. You find out what are you passionate about, what's your economic engine, and what can you be the best in the world at. And then those sort of things are the way that you end up working out what you want to be. The big thing is, if you're not passionate about what you're going to do, you're never going to last for a long time. Even if you're not passionate about that specific thing, you've got to be passionate about where you're heading. And if you're not the best in the world at it, especially in today's economy, so many people are just trying to do copycat products and try to put some shit out there and just try to get some money. That's fine if you want to make a little bit of income on the side, but it's never going to grow a fully scalable brand. And then you want to have an economic engine. How do you make money from it? So many people start up passion projects or work on something that they are really good at, but no one gives a shit. And so what ends up happening is they end up with a business that doesn't have enough demand and people don't really care what they're doing, but because they're not true entrepreneurs, they're more just artist creators. They love creating the thing. They don't really listen to the what the market's telling them, and they keep going about it and they end up failing. So you really want to make sure you have those sort of three things sorted. Is, are you passionate about it? What the economic engine is, how you're going to make money for it, and can you be the best in the world in whatever market you're operating in?
Day job and then start my dream. It's go time now. It's double duty, and you still need an income coming in, because you know what?
I actually agree with this. I don't know if she's going to get to it, but so many people start a business, they just drop everything and they go straight into the business, and they go in with very rose-colored glasses. When you're in business, it takes time to get momentum. It's like a flywheel, where when you first start like putting energy into that flywheel and putting momentum, your first couple of like pushes are really, really hard. Just think of it like rolling the tire. You start rolling the tire, it's like really hard at the start, and you get slow. But then over time, you start building that momentum and you build it on, and then eventually you can give it like one shove and it goes around like 15 times. But people think you're going to make $1 million in the first 12 months, and it's just never going to happen. Well, that's not never going to happen, but especially if you haven't been in business before, there's so many mistakes to make along that way. So you just got to be aware of that and make sure you are prepared for it. So.
Harsh reality, it takes a long time to make a living that you can live off of when you start a small business. I have always had a side hustle or a day job in tandem going on when I've started.
This goes double if you start hiring employees and hiring people. You've really got to make sure that everything's sort of sorted on that back end.
New business or a new business venture. It's the only way to go.
Today, I'm going to share one tip about business names. I wish someone told me this tip 3 years ago. Don't put your product name or your audience in the title. For example, I don't recommend naming your business scrunchiequeen.com if you sell scrunchies. One is, what if after 12 months you want to branch out and not just sell scrunchies anymore? What if you now want to sell swimwear? People aren't going to look to your business for swimwear, but swimwear might take over and scrunchies may get lost. And then you're just stuck with the name Scrunchie Queen.
This is an interesting one. I think it's kind of hard because it depends on the type of product and what your actual end goal is. There's so many businesses like Scrub Daddy, for example. So Scrub Daddy has the Scrub Daddy and then has a few different products from there, but the name of the company is the name of the product they're selling, basically. So it can work, and it also allows you, especially when you're first starting off, to really get clear and get your niche really down. Because if your product name is the same as your business name, it's very easy for people to make that connection. And you can even go to a specific audience. So if you have your specific audience in your name, it's very clear initially what people want. And then you can always have side branch businesses with similar names or different names off it, branching off there. So you can have like the sub businesses underneath it. So I kind of agree, but then on the other hand, it's I don't think it's as important as it is, depending on what your goals are in the end. Because obviously if you plan on selling multiple products, then it is a terrible idea.
Queen.com. Point two about putting your audience in the title. Let's say it's not Scrunchie Queen. I don't like that example. Let's say it's scrunchiekid.com.
I was like, I don't like that example, but I kept it in.
You don't want adults to then think, oh, this brand is just for kids, I can't shop there. Try to think of a business name that isn't going to niche your business too much. Even though you can rebrand and you can change your business name at any moment, it's just not super ideal.
Yeah, I actually, rebranding and changing your business name is a much bigger deal than I think she's even letting on. It's really bad. Like, especially if you've built up a specific audience. Once you start building up that sort of everyone like loves your brand, they know who you are, you build up that customer trust and that customer loyalty. As soon as you rebrand, all of that goes out the door. People don't recognize you as quickly. It really becomes really difficult. So rebranding is generally the last option you want to go with. You want to try to do everything beforehand to try to save that. Again, even like I said, creating sub brands around it. If you look at someone like HP or Hewlett Packard, like they'll create different brands underneath their main company and actually brand around products and stuff like that. So yeah, it can be done, but I do agree with this. I do agree with this advice.
So how do you find manufacturing for your business or your invention or your idea? I think there's actually 3 ways to do that. One is Alibaba. So that's a way to find manufacturing.
Alibaba is good, but it can be very shoddy. Like it's you either get something that's really cheap and quite good. Like we have a couple of clients that use Alibaba to get their products, and it's great. But you've got to go in there with your wires wide open and just make sure you're aware that people will scam you and will take your shit, or you'll get the wrong products. Things won't turn up, and there's no follow up from there. You're taking a big risk going to all these companies.
Manufacturing in China. The pro to that is it's really easy to find a ton of manufacturers. The con to that is they might rip you off. So
Yeah,
I've designed products
exactly.
in the past, but literally other people got the watch and were selling the watch before I even had it because I just got ripped off by the manufacturer. So that sucks. And that brings me to number 2. We use a company called Shift Global. We've also used a company called Lions Trading Group. There's one in Salt Lake called Blacksmith, I believe. Anyway, there's a lot of different companies that have manufacturing all set up and ready to go. So you just really contact them, they find you a manufacturer, and they organize it all. It's great. And then the third is to chat with a friend. So if somebody makes a backpack and we make a toiletry bag, maybe they'll do an introduction so it's not really competing. Or, there's a lot of different ways. So those are the 3 main ways to...
I think going through a broker or going through someone who already has connections in China or whatever country you're going for, is generally the better way to go. You are taking a big risk if you don't, and even if it costs you a bit more to start with, maybe to hire some consultants that know what they're doing, in the end, it's probably worth the pain if you do have something that's fairly substantial that you want to do, or building a brand. Because once you start getting those contacts and start working through the things, you'll have build up relationships in there, and you should be able to have a bit of leverage over them with the orders and things like that coming in.